The Virginia Horse Industry Board, Southwest Virginia Agricultural Association, and the Virginia Christmas Tree Growers Association are proud sponsors of Virginia farming.
This program's brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau. Large or small, Virginia farmers work year-round to help put food on your table. And Farm Bureau works year-round to help farmers and all Virginians. Farming, it's all good. To learn more, go to vafarmbureau.org.
Polaris, offering its hardest working, smoothest riding off-road side-by-sides, featuring the value-minded new Ranger 800 midsize, hunt, farm, or trail. Polaris has the Ranger side-by-side you want at Polaris.com.
Brought to you by Farm Family, Life, Auto, Business, Farm. Jim Gray, farmer's son, agribusiness owner, insurance agent. Another personal story on farmfamilypeople.com. Farm Family, the people you know. Hi everybody, welcome to Virginia Farming. I'm Amy Rocher. This week we're talking about ag literacy and some of the stereotypes that exist when Dr. Andy Overbay joins us on Ag Insights. Then we'll find out why it's so important to plan ahead when planting trees and shrubs when we go in the garden. We'll also have the ag calendar and a Minute in the Field video. All this plus the ag news of the week on this edition of Virginia Farming. Shamrock Farms, one of the largest family-owned and operated dairies in the country, announced the construction of a new $50 million state-of-the-art dairy manufacturing facility in Augusta County. Construction will begin in the coming months, and the facility is expected to open in late 2014. It will be 130,000 square feet initially, with room for expansion. Once completed, the plant will employ up to 60 people and will source its milk from Virginia area farmers. The new facility will feature the latest in extended shelf life technology, which allows milk to stay fresher longer. It will also manufacture protein-fortified milk beverages used by sports teams in colleges and universities nationwide. And to kick off its relationship with the Augusta County community, Shamrock will donate beverages to the Fort Defiance High School athletic teams. Well, planting season is here, and the USDA's National Agricultural Statistics Service is providing Virginia farmers a final chance to sow a seed for their future by responding to the Census of Agriculture. NASS is committed to ensuring that every farm and ranch operation in Virginia is counted. Therefore, it recently began mailing a final copy of the 2012 Census of Agriculture to producers who have not yet responded, and representatives will be making follow-up telephone calls and personal visits throughout the spring to those who are unaccounted for. The census is conducted every 5 years and is the only source of consistent and comprehensive agricultural data for every state and county in the nation. The information is used by town planners, policymakers, agribusinesses, and others to help make important decisions for Virginia communities. Now, to return your form online or for more information, visit agcensus.usda.gov. While beef farmers need to be counted in that census as well, because across the globe, consumers are craving U.S. beef. But how will rising prices impact future demand? In this segment, Cindy Campbell shares a report from Mike Murphy, a CattleFax market analyst.
Expensive price tags set sellers up for a hard task. CattleFax says U.S. beef finds itself in that spot, both domestically and in the export markets.
Today, we're sitting here basically at record high prices when you look at it from a live cattle perspective or a cutout perspective. And as you rank that across the globe, we are the third highest when we look at things. The Japanese Wagyu product's higher. We don't really compare with that because it's a different type of a product. But yeah, we're third in the globe, and that concerns us from an export standpoint as we look at our trade forecast for 2013.
Record high beef prices come at a time when consumers may have less disposable income too.
Well, relative to the economic situation, and as we look at it related to beef demand, we're looking at GDP growth that's going to be 1 to 2% growth, which is not super positive to beef demand as we look at 2013. So that's something we've got to be conscious of as we look forward here.
That's true overseas as well. Mature markets will pose more challenges than emerging ones like China, India, and Vietnam. Across the globe, U.S. beef commands a premium because trading partners crave the grain-fed flavor that sets the product above beef from other regions of the world. Murphy says at some price point, people will turn away from even the best beef. But the promise of premium brands allow that level to be relatively high.
Branding is very important, and obviously if we're looking at certified Angus beef as an example, that branding is really critical. You've got higher pricing points there, and that's going to continue to be the situation as we go forward. You'll certainly see those higher pricing points, but the bottom line is that you still have to be able to get the consumer to buy it, and at some point they will find a resistance from a price standpoint. It just may be at a higher level than commodity beef. But branding is very important for the industry for sure.
Beef may be a hard sell this year, unless it proves it's worth the extra dough. I'm Cindy Campbell.
Thank you, Cindy. While beef prices may be going up, VDAC says that Virginia's soybean producers intend to decrease their acreage this year. If realized, this acreage will be 20,000 fewer acres than last year. Other decreased plantings include cotton, peanuts, oats, and hay. Now, a few crops are looking to increase their acreage. They include corn, which is estimated to increase about 10,000 acres, winter wheat, barley, and flu-cured tobacco. Now, some of those crops may make their way to school cafeterias. The farm-to-school movement, which encourages school systems to use local foods to feed their students, is steadily growing in Virginia. Norm Hyde reports.
Buying local foods is popular with everyone, but it can be a challenge for school systems. Institutional buyers need a consistent supply of food products every single day of the school year. Fortunately, farmers in many Virginia communities are working to expand their growing seasons and ramp up production so they can be part of their local school's food chain.
Virginia runs a statewide program for farm to school, but King George had never participated until this year when finally the pieces just kind of fell into place. We found a local chef, Chef Larry Clark from King George, and the products were purchased locally from our farmers at the farmers market, and we visited each school to do a local lunch for the kids.
The King George Farmers Market's held every Saturday at the King George Elementary School parking lot, so it was an easy step for everyone to link up for Virginia's annual Farm to School Week celebration last November.
I went to the farmers market every Saturday, and I always thought how awesome it would be if we would just purchase our produce from here because we would know where it was coming from. A lot of the farmers got involved. Some of them, one of them, C&T, actually donated all the produce which we used at 3 schools. And it was just awesome. And we got a chef who donated his time. And we set everything up out in the cafeteria.
It was well received by the kids, even well received by the staff. I mean, the kids really enjoyed it because of the different types of vegetables that were served and the various ways it was being prepared. So they really got a kick out of it.
Going forward, King George County cafeterias have also been incorporating as much local produce as possible in other meals and in the salad bar at the high school. King George will be buying as much locally sourced produce as possible next year, and the county's working with growers to keep local foods on the menu as long as the season allows.
Although I just stopped probably 2 weeks ago on actually getting produce, one of the farmers was still growing cabbage and broccoli, so I pretty much cabbage and broccoli them out, but every school said that every day that we had it on the menu, they sold it all. So the kids know the difference in frozen or canned as opposed to the fresh.
Padavan and her husband have been involved in the quickly expanding local foods movement since 2005, and the farmers market is entering its 5th season. She says some farmers are already taking steps to extend their growing seasons.
Some of our growers have greenhouses and they're able to extend their seasons that way. So things like cabbages, broccolis, cauliflowers, they last right straight through the winter. Green onions and so on. And also all of the greens, kale and spinach and those kinds of things. So we can really grow quite a variety of food here in our region. And as time goes on, I'm sure we'll figure out more ways to grow more things too.
King George County school officials are like many in Virginia who are taking steps to introduce as many local food sources as possible. To learn more about the local foods movement in schools, go to the Virginia Department of Agriculture website and enter Farm to School into the search window. In King George County, Virginia, I'm Norm Hyde.
Thank you, Norm. Hopefully that farm to school movement will help make today's children more literate in agricultural matters. Ag illiteracy is a problem, and we'll address that problem next when Dr. Andy Overbay joins us on Ag Insights. Agriculture literacy needs to be improved in all walks of life and in all age groups. Joining us today is Dr. Andy Overbay, an agricultural and natural resources agent in Smith, Virginia, who describes one of his primary roles in extension education is improving agricultural literacy. Andy, welcome to Virginia Farming.
Thank you for having me, Amy.
First of all, explain to me, what is agricultural literacy?
Really, there's two folds in agricultural literacy. Agricultural literacy from a consumer standpoint are our customers' ability to understand modern agriculture, what our practices are, what we do, why we do it. From a farmer's standpoint, agricultural literacy is the ability to, in lay terms, to describe what we do to our customers so that they understand where their food and fiber comes from.
Okay, so how did you first become interested in this? Did you had a couple things happen to you and eye-openers?
Many things, but the epiphany occurred several years ago. My wife and I operated my family's dairy farm in Chilhowie for 15 years, and we would routinely host elementary school, mostly kindergartners, to our farm, sometimes as many as 500 a year. And I'll never forget this little boy that appeared at the farm one day. He pulled up, and you could see on the school bus they were really excited. They had on their bib overalls and their straw hats, and I'll never forget this little boy's face. He stepped off the school bus and he looked me over from head to toe, my wife over from head to toe. We were dressed actually very similar to I am now, with a polo shirt and jeans, and he asked me, said, "Where are all the farmers at?" And it just struck me that he had a stereotype in his mind of what he was supposed to see that day. He was expecting to step off that bus into the soundstage of hee-haw.
Right.
And we looked too normal to him. So it really brought home to me that how much farmers are stereotyped, even by 5-year-olds.
Sure, and I think they're stereotyped really by all age groups. When you think of farmer, you think of an older guy with maybe some straw of hay in his mouth and straw hat on, but where do you think the stereotypes come from?
Well, honestly, we give them to them. One of the things that we've done over the years is, especially in primary schools, if you look at the books that children use, they basically are Old MacDonald and not a whole lot else. And one of the things we fail to do as agricultural professionals is provide people with an idea of what modern agriculture is, what the jobs are in agriculture, and an understanding of how many jobs count on agriculture for their from-farm income.
And from farm income meaning?
From farm income is something we don't talk nearly enough about. You know, we talk about on-farm income and off-farm income as it pertains to the family farm and net farm income, but from farm income is the income and the salaries that are generated by farms, from farms, that are paid to employees from businesses that thrive on agriculture or local economy. I know my wife and I calculated this one time that we spent $8,000 a year on oil, fuel, air, and hydraulic filters. You know, and that was 15 years ago. Think what that would be today.
Right.
So really, again, we need to concentrate on telling people how much farming means to our local economies.
Okay. I think it surprises me when I go out and I meet so many different farmers, and they are so smart. They talk about things that just blow me away, are over my head. I have to stop them and ask questions, because a lot of these guys, and especially some of these younger guys, have college degrees.
And ladies as well.
Right.
Correct, yes. And again, it's one of the things that it surprises us, and yet it shouldn't. I talk to high school FFA classes about agriculture, and one of the things I ask them is how much education do you need? It surprises them to find out in Southwest Virginia, a dairy farmer is twice as likely to have a high school diploma and 4 times more likely to hold a college degree than the average person in Southwest Virginia. So we are an educated people, but we're certainly not treated that way sometimes.
Right, and you know, I think that just comes from being rural America.
Well, and being isolated to some
Right.
extent too.
Exactly. Now, sadly enough, a lot of this illiteracy comes from people we would consider educated people.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about some of the quotes that you had talked about, and I want to put the first one up on the screen.
Okay.
So tell me about this quote and what got you going about this.
Okay. This one actually I saw on Court TV. Many of you know Savannah Guthrie now, who's the host of the Today Show. You may not know Savannah's an attorney. She is a member of the bar of both Washington, D.C. and New York City, and or actually the state of New York. And she was a young reporter for Court TV when she made this quote about a murder trial in Idaho. She said, when she was asked about DNA evidence that was introduced in the case, she had this to say. She said, the prosecution made a real mistake about introducing DNA evidence in this case. These jurors are farmers. There's no possible way they can understand such scientific data. And the host of the show, Kathleen Cryer, challenged her on this. Said, do you mean to tell me that because these jurors are farmers, there's no possible way they could understand this evidence? And Savannah's response was, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Now, I ask you humbly to take out the word farmer and insert any ethnic or religious group you want to. And what happens to Savannah? She's certainly not hosting the Today Show today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That would not be acceptable in any other.
No, and there is such a thing as vocational stereotype, and we all do that. I mean, why is it we just assume that the janitor doesn't have as much education as the CEO?
Exactly. Exactly. And we all have the stereotypes in our minds of, what a mechanic looks like. Because he
Sure.
always has grease under his nails.
Well,
but
And stereotypes are natural.
Right.
We don't ask for the resume of the pilot for the airliner we're about to board. Maybe we should.
Maybe we should.
But those are stereotypes actually help us deal with situations in our lives quickly. So there are positive stereotypes out there as well. We teach our children, if you're in trouble, find a policeman, find a firefighter, respect a soldier, respect a member of the clergy. So there are positive images out there as well. And one of the things that we need to do as an industry in agriculture is shift farming more that way as well.
Shift it that way. Okay, I want to take a look at this next quote.
Okay, this next one actually was shared with me by a farmer in Rural Retreat, Virginia, who listens to public radio in his tractor. And this particular quote was about a show, or from a show, that was dedicated to the state quarter design that was being released. And the host commented how much he loved the Wisconsin state quarter, the dairy cow and the wedge of cheese. And the state quarter committee chair from Wisconsin had this to say about the dairy cow. He said, well, we really didn't want to use a dairy cow because we didn't want to portray our state as old-fashioned and outdated, because agriculture is old-fashioned and outdated. and the host challenged him on this. He said, you're America's dairy land. Why in the world would you not use a cow and not use a block of cheese? He said, frankly, I thought a toilet would be a better choice. That Wisconsin is home for Kohler bathroom fixtures, and that would be a much better choice. But the dairy industry, Amy, in Wisconsin generates $26.5 billion. That's billion with a B. $1 billion to that economy. I guarantee Kohler doesn't sell $26.5 billion worth of toilets.
And I can't imagine how you'd really work a toilet into a state logo either. I don't know.
Well,
cows seem a lot more friendly to me. We were running out of time, but I wanted to ask you one more thing. What do you think that people in agriculture and us in the media, extension agents, what can we do to overcome this illiteracy?
Well, the number one thing is we can't sit on the sidelines. Part of my PhD research said that children, young people are influenced by people they know in the field as much as their parents, their teachers, their work and school experiences. The people they know in the field influence their career decisions and their attitude towards or their perceptions toward the industry more than anything. So we need to be actively engaged, especially with young people, about, again, what agriculture is, what it isn't, and why we do the things we do to provide food and fiber for our country.
Agreed. We all need to work on that a little harder.
Indeed.
Andy, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Really appreciate it. We'll be right back. When you're planting trees and shrubbery, it's important to take note of their height and width and what they will look like in 5 to 10 years. Let's join Mark Viette in the garden.
Many of us go to our garden stores and we see these beautiful plants. It might be a tree or a shrub covered with flowers or with fall foliage, but we see it, we want it, we buy it, and we bring it home. We really never realize how big some of these plants can get. Here we are at Maymont in Richmond, Virginia, which has a great example of how big some of your shrubs and trees can get. For example, right next to me here, we have this yew, which probably was planted about 5 years ago. Probably was about 3 or 4 feet tall when it was originally planted. And you can see it's grown just a little bit. But if you look over here, the same exact yew is over 100 years old. And you can see how big it's gotten. A lot of us don't think about what our garden's going to look like in 5 years, 10 years, 15 or 20 years. And there's very few of us that'll ever think about what our garden's going to look like in 50 or 100 years. But we do need to remember that, because even if you move and buy a new house, you need to remember that that homeowner is going to inherit what you plant. Let's go take a look at some other trees and how big they can get. Sometimes it's hard for us to figure out how close can we plant a tree next to the house. I like to use a rule of thumb, is the width of the tree is about how far apart it should be from part of your home. A tree that I can use close to the house would be the maple, especially the dwarf maples. They really don't get too big, and they're kind of neat to have up against the home or close to the home. Especially during the winter months, you can see the beautiful bark and you can see through these trees. So I really recommend some of these nice dwarf maples, which can give you red color and green color and even variegation next to the home. This was going to be a dwarf golden hinoki cypress, but when you look up, you can see it's actually almost 60 feet in height. So even if that label says, you know, only 3 feet wide, only 10 feet tall, you really might want to research it a little farther than that. So I always like to err on the side that plants eventually will get bigger than what we think. Here at Maymont, they wanted to be able to plant the elm tree. A lot of us are familiar with the nice Dutch elm trees that we might have or remember growing up with, but a lot of those have died due to disease problems. But this is a variety that has a nice upward shape. It's called Princeton. And so not only do you want to think about the width of trees and the height of trees, you really need to think about, what does the tree look like? Does it grow up vertical and outward? Does it weep? Does it grow up and then weep? Does it grow upright? Does it grow outward? These are all things that you need to keep in mind when you're selecting that perfect tree for that perfect spot in your garden. 20, 30, 40. Many of us are familiar with the American holly. We might see it in someone's garden. We might even see it in the woodland. But would you ever imagine it getting as big as 60 to 70 feet as it has behind me? Remember, when you're planting your garden, not only do you want to plant your plants for your enjoyment, but you also want to space them for years and years of enjoyment for whoever might be in that house, maybe even 100 years from now. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
Taking a look at our ag calendar, there are several events taking place at the Rockingham County Fairgrounds in Harrisonburg over the next few weeks. Now, they include the Virginia Poultry Youth Conference on Friday, April 26th. The 8th annual Old Dominion Gold Cup Memorial Classic Mini Silky Goat Shows on April 27th. And the Champions Choice Club Lamb Sale will also be held on April 27th. And if you're looking for something to do over the next couple of weeks, visit Winchester for the 86th Annual Apple Blossom Festival. The Grand Feature Parade will take place at noon on Saturday, May 4th, with Grand Marshal Scotty McCreary. Other events will be going on through Sunday, May 5th. Well, that does it for our show. Have a great week, everyone. I'm Amy Rocher for Virginia Farming.
This program's brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau. From apples to zucchini, Virginia farmers work hard to put food on your table. And Farm Bureau works year-round to help farmers and all Virginians. Farming, it's all good. To learn more, go to vafarmbureau.org.
Polaris, offering its hardest working, smoothest riding full-size workhorses, including the all-new 60-horsepower Ranger XP 900, hunt, farm, or trail. Polaris has the full-size Ranger you want at Polaris.com.
Brought to you by Farm Family. Life, auto, business, farm. Steve Morse, fruit grower, distiller, entrepreneur. Another personal story on farmfamilypeople.com. Farm Family, the people you know.